Hey guys, doing here. I'm back in my chair instead of just standing up because this is going to be a little bit different of a video. This video is going to talk about how I got into anime and kind of a little bit of, I guess, my high school years. Just felt like just because I felt like talking about it. And the yeah, the whole reason about the whole time about high school thing is because I started watching anime, like really started watching anime starting in high school around freshman ish year. Like the first anime I've ever watched was like I think it was Yu Gi Oh and then Pokemon. Like whenever I was younger, but not. But I was a kid. I had no idea what anime was. I was just watching something that was on TV and was enjoying it. So, but then my cousin showed me this show called Inuyasha, which is the first one I've started. When I started to really get into it, that was the first one I've watched that I started watching. Crazy because it was like 100 and because it was one of the sort of longer ones. It was like, what 167 before the final act, and that started around high school. And some of them there it was first that one, and then I think Full Metal Alchemist because I was texting someone that was like way, I don't know, they're like on one of the coasts. I don't know. It was someone I found online in a forum and started texting them at some point. I started texting them about recommendations for anime, and they suggested Full Metal Alchemist. And weirdly, how well first let me talk about Inuyasha for a second. The way I actually watched it was one not on. I don't know if it counts as this counts as an unofficial website, but I wasn't watching on that. I watched it on YouTube. Whenever YouTube allowed like anime videos to be put on there, anime episodes to be put on there, I guess before they changed all that. So I think it was like there are videos that are like this episode part one, this episode part two. That's the way I was watching it because I had no idea how I was supposed to watch it. But before that, I think I just was watching. I watched a couple episodes on from Toonami. I think instead of this was before I did anything like recording episodes or anything on like Toonami. I literally stayed up just to see what it was. It was I stayed up all night just to see, I woke up at a certain try to wake up at a certain time so I could watch it or to watch a few episodes of it. And that's how I started into it. And then there, and after that, that's when I started to. I think I bought. I tried to get buy the first season. Ended up being a bootleg version from Amazon. I'm pretty sure it was either a bootleg version or it was some random volume thing that some person made. I would still consider it a bootleg, but and after that, I bought. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say I bought. My parents bought it because I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money. None of that. So I kind of tried to convince them to buy it. I convinced them to buy it. The first one, and then like season two, I think, and like the first half of Full Metal Alchemist, the first 2003 version, and that kind of is what set me off to start watching. Because I think after Full Metal Alchemist, I think I went to Full Metal Panic. I don't know why. Maybe because they had a similar name. I just like, okay, look up something else, and I found that. I was like, okay, I'll watch that, and enjoyed that. I think actually no, I did no, that one I did buy. Not again, not buy. Parents bought, but from Amazon for the first season. Either maybe it was like a Christmas thing or something. I don't remember. I don't remember. But after that, I started to watch more. I think the way I watch it, we whenever I was watching them was we didn't have internet at all. Oh yeah, the reason I bought it is because I couldn't find Full Metal Alchemist on YouTube. I didn't know there were the unofficial websites that you could watch them on. I didn't know about Crunchyroll. I didn't know about anything like that. Even if that was even out at the time. But this was like what 2012, 2013. It's like five ish years ago, 5.5 years ago, and that's. Uh, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the way I watched them was either at the school whenever I had a chance to get on a computer at the library at the school, or there are three places. That one was the school, and one was our church, which had computers that they let they let me use to watch to do stuff whenever we because every Tuesday we our church does a like a free dinner for anyone really, and so and it's like in the basement of the church basement, but there's like a door on the very end that like had like a walkway out. But in one room there it was like a considered a the young adult teenager room for like Sunday school and that kind of stuff, and it had a computer in there. So I just used that to watch a lot of my anime. That and every time after school, I would ask whoever picked me up, whether it was my dad, my mom, my brother, didn't know who. Most of the time, if it was my mother or father, but that I would ask them to take me to the actual library, the in town where they had computers, and I would just sit there for about hour to 2 hours, just watching like 2 to 4 episodes each time, and that's where I how I started watching them. That's more or less. Now, the more I went into the year, I think it was like sophomore, junior year when I started to actually it was more junior year than sophomore year when I started to instead of like staying out in like the cafeteria with friends and eating lunch, I would get like one of those like one of the snacks, I guess, and then I would just head up to the library and be there to watch anime or just to hang with friends there. That was it. That's all I did for lunch when it was like lunchtime. But that's when I would most of the time during school watch my anime. That was also time. Cause we didn't have internet at all. The only internet we had at my house was on our phones. Was the data on our phones, and that was extremely limited as well. It's like what 15 or 20 gigabytes a month, something like that. And so this is where the high school part. This is where more of the high school part comes in, because by senior year, I was starting to work, not work, but one of the things I chose for one of the classes was to be a library aide, and it just so happened to be at the fourth period, which was the lunch period, which was the period for like all the three different lunch periods. So I would just be in there, and at first I was either I was watching YouTube or I was watching anime. I was watching the popular ones like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Those three, like I was watching those a lot at that time. but I was also like going back and forth between that and watching anime and back and forth, trying to find a way to balance it out. And so whenever we were at the library, in the library, I was in the library, as the library aide. I I ended up getting told off because I was watching a YouTube video on the librarian's computer that where she sits at to check people in and out. She lets us sit there and to do the do like check people in and out with books and all that, but sometimes at some points we got away with just watching videos on there or playing games on there. And she didn't mind at first, but then there was some other stuff that. But at some point, she had to make a stop to where we had to go use like one of the actual computers that are for the students instead. And it was around this during that year that our school finally got like Kindle Fires to like bring out for students to use, and I was one of the first people to actually use one because I had the advantage of being the library aide, of being there to actually be the first one to get one. Just yes, and I know that's a bit sneaky to do because I wanted to take the chance, and so I ended up using that actually after a while to watch like my YouTube videos, all the anime that I watch. I used that if I couldn't use a computer. And one other class that it was really fun to do during that. It was called WIT, and it stood for Wildcats Instructional Technology. Wildcats was our mascot, Wildcats, and and at first I was thinking it was going to be a class teaching me about technology. Nope, it's a class about us teaching others about technology and helping with the technology around all of the schools in the district, which was actually one of my favorite classes to do. It was really one of my favorite and fun classes to do. Because one time we had to do a presentation, I think at one of the school on like out. That's like a school that was way out, and it it was actually pretty fun because I got to skip school that day, and since it was like my senior year, there wasn't really a lot of important classes that needed any. Basically, there wasn't a lot of important classes because it was senior year, and it was supposed to be classes that were just kind of like a laid back kind of year. And that's why those two classes were two, that and the library were two of my favorite, because library I was able to just hang out with my friends if I wasn't having to do something for the librarian. And like all we did was be in the back of the tables and play Uno. That's all we did if I wasn't watching anime during whenever it was their lunch period. Anyway, and now back to the WIT class. One of my favorite things that happened was, one second. One of my favorite moments in that class was it was whenever we got a 3D printer for the school, and it was stationed in the room with the WIT class, and I think the class had like only like 8 people in it, and it was separated into like 2 to 3 people groups. So I think one group even had just one person. But there was one time that we were able they let us use the 3D printer and like find stuff online to put on an SD card to or put it on or look it up on a laptop that was connected to it and print it out. So they let me do that, and this was around the time I was getting more into Fairy Tail. I think I finished the first season with I forgot how many. I think it was 175, and it was like by that time it was starting the second I was like halfway maybe into like the second series season, whatever, the 2014 one. This was yeah, and they got, and I was able to 3D print the Fairy Tail logo. And I don't know what I said. I still have it. I don't just because I liked the memory of that class and being able to actually do this in a class just because I was able to. That was just so amazing. And honestly, that's all I have to talk about right now because that was my favorite senior year. Like for most people, is always their favorite time because one, they're either happy they're done with school, or they just have the best kind of classes at that time. And I'm definitely the latter for that. And some of the best classes, some of the best teachers for that. It was like all of my favorite teachers were my classes, and that's where it started really kicking off about me. And that's where it started. Yeah, it started kicking off for me. It's for not just watching anime, but also I think I was reading manga at that a little bit of manga at that point. Yeah, yeah, I was starting to read the Fairy Tail manga, or at least like reading up to where the anime ended, and just one because I didn't want to wait another week for a new episode, so I just decided to read as much as I can. I don't think I was caught up to it at that time, but I was definitely farther ahead than the anime, and that's where it all really kicked off for me with anime was in high school. Anyway, if if you like this video and you want to see more of this like personal stuff, or if you don't, let me know and subscribe if for more videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.